Okay. I must be the right place. The cop here. Sure, I'm out of breath. I took the bridge. Anyways, out of breath. TJ Burt Cherie Campbell, the cop, was fired today. And they're now saying youth conference. And I guess they want to appeal it. So let's see if I'm invited in there. Whew. I ran almost the last 10 minutes. What time is it? 4:53. Here.
Members of the press, Mr. LeBlanc, you're in my office. That's unusual. Come on in.
There he is. Hi, Charles.
How you doing?
Hey, Charles.
How you doing?
Good, how are you, bud?
Follow.
All done, I guess.
Yeah.
They don't kick me out.
No.
Yeah, really.
Fire to the press, right? Okay. Morning, Charles.
How you doing?
Okay, I'm just gonna, when you guys are ready, I'll start off with just a couple of comments and then we'll let Ms. Campbell. I'll get in here with
You just hold up the light sheet.
Yeah, your white out, no problem.
And use your light.
Let me
You
see.
need another light.
I don't think I need one, but if you guys are using them, then I'll.
Don, you need a white out? Good?
I'm good.
Yep, okay. Okay, so is everybody
Just
set up?
good for light. Just one moment.
Okay,
please.
sure.
Just checking. Could I ask all three of you to count to 5, please?
Sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Thank you.
You gonna start?
Yeah, so when you guys are ready, I just want to preface the statement by Ms. Campbell first, okay? Is everybody ready?
Yep.
Yes, okay. So thank you for coming in today. Of course, Ms. Campbell is prepared to make a statement to you with respect to the decision that the arbitrator provided today. She's also going to make a statement with respect to what her personal beliefs are concerning the present conditions and employment conditions, I should say, at the Fredericton City Police Department. There may be opportunity where I have to intervene and stop questions because it may jeopardize Ms. Campbell's continued legal pursuits that she intends to embark on. Overall, I believe that everybody kind of knows the drill. We've all gone through this before, and I'll let Ms. Campbell go ahead and start.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am here to publicly comment on today's decision rendered by the arbitrator Cedric Haynes involving an allegation of theft of makeup from Martin Surplus and Salvage located in Holton, Maine. The total of these cosmetics was $28.74. While I do not necessarily agree with the conclusions reached by Mr. Haynes, I respect them. On May 27, 2015, a criminal trial in Holton, Maine was held regarding these facts. The conclusion of a jury of my peers was reached, and I was deemed not guilty of the allegation of theft. Mr. Haynes has described me in his decision as a thief, despite the arguments made at the arbitration regarding my intention to remove the items. I do take issue with his description and characterization of my actions that day without the existence of my testimony. It is my intention to appeal the arbitrator's decision by way of a judicial review. I also want to say thank you to my supporters, friends, and family, and fellow officers who have stood by me during this process. I also wish to thank my lawyers for their hard work and arguments at the hearing. I believe in the process of law, and I further believe that upon review, proper decision will be made about the facts and allegations, and I hopefully return to work someday. I now wish to speak about the Fredericton Police Force for a few moments. As you're all aware, over the past several months, the police force has been under fire for the actions of several of its officers. I continue to proudly stand behind the police force and its members. Not all police officers are bad officers. I believe that the police officers of Fredericton are some of the finest officers in the country. However, at this point in time, the police force is suffering from a significant morale issue and significant issues with leadership and management. Leadership comes from the top down, and it starts with the chief of police. Top-down leadership works best when employees have confidence in their leadership and know that their leader is supportive, committed to working with its employees, and prepared to stand by them for minor human mistakes. After all, police officers are not superheroes. They are human. Mistakes are often made and valuable lessons are learned from them. Unfortunately, the present leadership at the Fredericton Police Force does not believe in this principle. I believe the present leadership at the Fredericton Police Force has created a difficult, if not poisoned, work environment for the police officers there. I have accepted the rationale, but not the conclusion of the arbitrator. But it's time someone speaks out about the low confidence and morale at the police department. Over the past several months, conduct complaints have been made against my fellow officers concerning very minor, trivial matters that in any other job would be dismissed or at worst would attract very minor punishment. However, at the police force, these minor, frivolous complaints are instead being processed and officers are being penalized for them. And they're being seriously penalized with suspensions and terminations for minor, trivial, and frivolous complaints. This means police officers are fearful of doing their jobs, fearful of policing, and fearful of living their lives because they're fearful of the scrutiny and serious reprisal from management. Officers are not getting the support that we need from our leaders, and the officers have lost confidence in their leadership. The press knows it, the public knows it, the city council knows it, and my fellow officers know it, but someone has to say it. I wish to re-emphasize that this is not a case of sour grapes. I believe the outcome of my case was predetermined, not by the arbitrator, but by the chief. The chief wanted my resignation or termination from the onset of the arbitration hearing for a minor amount of cosmetics inadvertently removed from the store. My decision to go to a hearing and fight this matter has always been about more than simply establishing my innocence. It was to fight for my fellow police officers, who under the helm of low morale and low confidence in its management. I have been a police officer for the past 13 years. I know firsthand that when there is a crisis, it is the police who are often running towards it while the public runs away from it. This is what I did. When faced with the management and leadership crisis at the Fredericton Police Force, my training required me to run into the crisis, and I'm not done fighting for my fellow officers. Police officers are judged for their actions. We are judged on an imperfect standard. We are judged by the public, who are not trained the same way as officers are. We have extremely challenging jobs and require significant support from others to be successful, including the chief of police. In conclusion, I intend to continue to fight for what I believe is right, which includes my return to the Fredericton City Police, force in full uniform and on patrol, ready to serve the citizens of Fredericton.
Questions? Do you think that you're being made a scapegoat of for the chief wanting to, for want of a better term, clear house at the police?
As I stated, unfortunately, we are being scrutinized heavily. And as of right now, I am holding accountable my responsibilities in this situation at this time. I will not comment on what the chief of police feels or believes to feel her intentions are.
Do you agree with the decision made by the arbitrator in terms of the action, your actions after the shoplifting incident were a reason for dismissal or reason for their decision?
Well, I think that I can answer that question for the arbitrator made a decision based on what he perceived to be the facts and what he perceived to be the law. Clearly in his decision, he says, I'm not relying on what the Martins employees testified to. So he had to look at the facts before him and the evidence before him in its entirety, and then he made the decision to categorize this as a theft. There were many ranges available to the arbitrator for punishment, including a demotion in rank, a suspension, a reprimand, and again, a loss of rank. The one thing that I think has been forgotten is that the Police Act is not meant to be punitive in nature. It's not to punish officers. It's meant to be corrective. And that, of course, is something that will have to be considered later on along the lines of judicial review. But I believe what Constable Campbell is saying is that her termination was manifestly excessive when you look at the other cases across the country. There are other examples across the country where police officers continue to be employed as police officers for far more serious incidents than this.
On that point, the whole issue of demotion, the decision seems to be silent on that option that was available to the arbitrator. Is that an error in law that you plan to argue when you apply for judicial review?
We're going to canvass the entire decision, and we're going to file the judicial review simultaneously with Constable Smiley's as well.
Point for clarification on your statement, Constable Campbell. You said you were found not guilty at trial by a jury of your peers in the States. Are you talking about the trial that ended in the hung jury, or is there
Yes.
another process?
No, the hung jury.
And I think that it was just misread, or she was deemed not to be found guilty. So,
Okay.
right, as opposed to not guilty.
In the decision, it went through what was believed to have happened during the incident. Did the makeup fall through the shopping cart at any point?
I felt that it was going to fall through the legs of the cart where the children's legs go through.
Okay. At one point, it also says that on record with Holton Police, their transcript from the camera, it said that you said to one of the officers that you could be, if charged, you could be suspended without pay. Did you say that to an officer?
Absolutely. I was fearful that day. I was scared of the consequences of my actions because I've never denied that I put those items in my pocket and walked out without paying for it. However, the intention was not there. I was terrified. I was in a different country, did not know the laws in that country. However, knowing that you cannot be found guilty here with any intention, that was my intent there, trying to explain to them that I did not do this. I did not mean to leave the store without paying for those items.
But were you aware at that time that that's not an option available to municipal or regional forces
No,
in
I
this
did not.
province?
I'm sorry, I don't.
Police forces, regional and municipal police forces in New Brunswick cannot dismiss an officer or cannot suspend an officer without pay currently.
Say that again.